Eucharist and Parables. The parable of the sower. Eucharist is the good soil. Plant yourself in this good soil. You will bear many fruits in your life. The parable of weeds among the wheat. In the presence of Jesus, we may receive unwanted elements like weeds. Just offer them into the hands of the Lord in the Eucharist. He will pluck and throw them away. The parable of the mustard seed. Eucharist is like mustard seed, which grows like a greatest shrub and becomes the shelter for everyone. The parable of the yeast. In Eucharist, everyone is transformed by Jesus' body and blood like yeast leavens the flour. The parable of hidden treasure. Eucharist is the treasure which has hidden virtues like love, mercy, peace, and forgiveness. So let us go and find them in the Eucharist. The parable of the pearl. Eucharist is the pearl which is more valuable and precious than any other costly things in the world. The parable of the net. Eucharist is the net which gathers everyone and eliminates all negativities of the person. The parable of the lost sheep. In Eucharist, Jesus becomes the good shepherd who goes after the lost one and rejoices with everyone after finding the lost one. The parable of the unforgiving servant. In Eucharist, Jesus is like a king who forgives vast amounts of sins and he expects us to forgive others. The parable of the laborers in the vineyard. Eucharist welcomes everyone and treats everyone with equal respect, dignity, equality, and equity, and hates the discrimination. The parable of two sons. Eucharist is the vineyard of Jesus. He calls us to walk in His vineyard and to do His will. The parable of the wicked tenants. Eucharist is the self-sacrifice of Jesus, who by giving His life protects the vineyard of the people and becomes the cornerstone. The parable of the wedding banquet. Eucharist is the wedding banquet of the Lord. He prepares everything for us and He calls every one of us to partake in this wedding banquet of the Lord. The parable of the 10 bridesmaids. We are marching to welcome our bridegroom Jesus in the Eucharist. Let us be wise and be prepared to welcome our bridegroom. The parable of the talents. In Eucharist, Jesus gives the talents of love, forgiveness, and peace. We are called to increase them by living, not by burying within ourselves.